Good day, everyone. You guys look wonderful. One more round of applause for the Kathy Orchestra. That is world-class, outstanding performance. Just the level of mastery is unbelievable, and I think that in McAllen ISD, that's our norm, but that's really not the norm for kids of that age. So it says a lot about the Fine Arts Department, says a lot about the expectation we have for our students. I would like to take this opportunity to once again recognize our board. How about one more round of applause for our board members for all that they do as they give time away from their families to make sure that our school district continues to thrive. Very, very proud of our board and everything they do for us. And also a special thank you to the Facilities Maintenance and Operation Department for all that they did over the weekend to get us back running. That storm hit us hard. But whenever you have the amount of synergy that we have across our district, and you specifically with regard to FMO, they're able to make things possible that would most likely be impossible if you don't have that level of teamwork. And also a special thank you to our marketing department, our community information and marketing. Round of applause for this beautiful event. Thank you to the Radisson and their staff for all that they're doing. Just a special time. And this is one of my favorite events because we have an opportunity to celebrate excellence. And I think that the name of the game is if you want to be great, you have to surround yourself with greatness. And today, I feel blessed to be surrounded with greatness. This weekend, I had an opportunity to serve as a statewide judge for the HEB Excellence in Education Awards. So I saw some of the greatest teachers, some of the best educators across the state. Had an opportunity to learn, have an opportunity to observe. And one of my takeaways is that our teachers can compete with anybody, anywhere. Our teachers don't only have the capacity, but have the heart to make it happen. I know that Ms. Lynn out of Fossum talked about the fact that Aristotle said that educating the mind without educating the heart is no education at all. And in McAllen ISD, we embrace that philosophy wholeheartedly as we teach emotional intelligence like no other district on planet Earth. As we make emotional intelligence and the work of Tal Ben-Shahar and Daniel Goleman a graduation requirement, as students take deep dives on the essence of self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, empathy, and social skills. I know that Mrs. Rocio Torres from Castañeda talked about the fact that regardless of a child's background, regardless of what they've done, regardless of their circumstances, regardless of their socioeconomic status or what people say about them or what mistakes they've made, that when they get into her classroom, that everybody's going to reach their full potential because she puts her heart and soul into it. And what dad, what mom doesn't want that? And that's why we're so blessed. I know Ms. Negrete's here from Gonzalez, and as a dad, she's my little boy Joshua's teacher, and she was my little girl Samantha's teacher last year. And I can have every mom and dad across the city stand right here, and they're going to tell you if they see their child's teacher in this room identified as a campus teacher of the year, you can't help but feel a sense of pride because all parents want their children with the best. And that's what we have in this room, the very best, because Mark May said it best. We're a high-performing school district. We've earned an A. And our A is a byproduct of systems and processes. We're not chasing letter grades. We're not trying to master an accountability system. We're executing scientific world-class systems and processes that target every child as an individual. And the byproduct of that is the A. The byproduct of that is a post-secondary readiness distinction. The byproduct of that is success. But that's what makes us so special. I've been in education for 27 years, 25 with this district. And I've grown so much, and I've been so blessed to meet so many wonderful people. But it's events like this that just put wind in my sail and charge me and make me want to be the very best that I can be because I'm surrounded by greatness. It's very difficult to become a teacher of the year in this district. It's very difficult to become a campus teacher of the year in this district. But here very soon, we're going to name our elementary McAllen ISD Teacher of the Year. You're sitting here right now. And the secondary Teacher of the Year is sitting in here right now. The challenge is, when we get to regional, we need to understand that we can compete with anybody, anywhere. We have the systems and processes and the results to back it. I believe with all my heart that the Texas Elementary and/or Secondary Teacher of the Year is in this room. And try to wrap your mind around that. Since 1950, this award's been bestowed upon an educator. Since 1950, in the Rio Grande Valley, 5 teachers have won. 3 of them have come from McAllen ISD. If you think back to Leo Ramirez, was a McAllen High School teacher. He won the state title in 92-93. Dora Noel was a Thick Pensavala teacher. She won in 2008, 2009. And our very own Jennifer Hahn here recently was the Elementary Texas Teacher of the Year in 21-22. How about a round of applause for those outstanding educators to compete at that level? To compete at the state level is something special. To win it at the state level is an honor that isn't about an individual, it's about a district. It's about a district that's driven to prove that we can compete with anybody, anywhere. It's about a district that's breaking down barriers and making the impossible possible. It's about a district that says if we have a shortage in the area of commercial pilots, then we're going to create the McAllen ISD aviation program. We have 12 students flying airplanes right now. Almost all of them have done their solo flights. They're flying 60 miles away from McAllen, Texas, landing, taxiing back, taking off again, and landing by themselves. Imagine that. How about a round of applause for the McAllen ISD aviation program? We have school districts from all over the state that are coming down. We had Gonzalez ISD here recently. We have Rio Grande City that's going to come down. We have some in the Dallas Metroplex that are interested in coming down to see this, and that's what we want. We want to replicate this. We want to replicate, and this is just one example of the many things that we're doing. But I believe with all my heart that the Texas Teacher of the Year is in this room right now, and I say that because we have not only the data to prove it, but we also have the capacity to prove that our children can compete with anybody, anywhere. You heard the Kathy Orchestra. That's a representation of the greatness that you'll see across this district. We want to make sure that we remember the words of our coach from Hendricks, Mr. Ricardo Diaz. He says, all I want my kids to do is come in and try. They don't have to be the all-star. Just try. Give me your best. And when you have somebody that believes in you that way, man, you're going to give them your very best. And when you have, as a dad, you know you're sending your kid to a district and a campus where they're going to educate not only the mind but the heart, and they're going to educate your children not only academically but socially and emotionally to make sure that your kids are not only book smart but people smart, and most of all self-smart. So when they go out into the big world, that they're able to fight the monsters, that they're able to get through the ups and downs, because we know sometimes it's high tide and sometimes it's low tide. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Sometimes the sun rises, sometimes the sun sets. But the name of the game and what every mom and dad on this planet wants is for their children to be successful, especially when we're no longer on God's green earth. And that's what McAllen ISD does for students in our community, day in and day out. It puts kids in a position to reach their full potential, regardless of their circumstances, regardless of their background, regardless of their challenges, regardless of what people tell them, regardless of what people think of us. Our kids have grit, they have resiliency, they have a never say die spirit. They will outwork you and outthink you, and they will produce the results to prove that McAllen ISD is a force to be reckoned with. And it's because of the teachers in this room. There's no other way to make it happen. Great schools have great teachers. And everybody in this room, just know that we're proud of you. And I can't wait to name the elementary and the secondary so we can get on with the regional competition and get on with the state competition and go tell our story. And I'll close with the words of Marie Curie, who was a French physicist. And she, in the early 1900s, was really big on developing radioactivity and cures for cancer. But when I read this quote from her, I've been thinking about it for years. She said, "Nothing in this world is to be feared. It is to be understood. And now is the time to understand more so that we may fear less." She said, "Nothing in this world is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand so that we may fear less." And I want you to know that that's what we do for our students. We put them in a position to understand. We put them in a position to reach their full potential. We put them in a position to know that they can compete with anybody, anywhere. And they do that in a manner that comes across as fearless because they understand the intricacies of what life is. And that's very special. And I'm so blessed to be a part of it. Thank you all very much and enjoy.